Maybe, Mr. Manager, I'd like to ask you to see if there are other cities doing something, and maybe let's look at the city managers out there. Speak about the welcome.
Thank you. My name is R.Joshua, the founder of the Facebook group Homeless Advocates for Christ. And recently, Terry Lowe and officers and some others and I had a meeting regarding the homeless. And they stated that basically if the homeless went to jail, they would get some kind of treatment. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. A friend of ours that's homeless, that has the mental illness, and we all kind of recognized that, went to jail, and then he was released. He didn't get any treatment, and now he's back in jail again because he went to an area where he was basically told not to go. So I'm just asking that maybe we could get another meeting with Terry Lowe and the officers, because is there real help, or is it just lies what they're saying? And what I see here is a lie. And I'd like to hopefully make something happen here where we can really get help to these people. I've been doing a lot of research regarding police, politicians, and professors that are all talking about issues with the mentally ill and the homeless. And one of the things that the police said was that they don't have enough mental health centers, and the cost is going to the jails to take care of the mentally ill instead of mental health centers. And it's like a revolving door. And that's kind of what happened with this guy that I'm talking about. And the politician, basically, he was saying that there should be treatment before tragedy. A lot of times we're waiting for the tragedy to happen instead of working on a treatment before. And the professor is basically saying if someone has a lack of a capacity to judge for themselves, right? They don't even know they have a problem, and that it's in the best interest of that person, those two things, that we should get that person treatment. It's basically involuntary treatment. And then versus what we're doing now, which is that this person is, they're waiting to see if this person is a danger to themselves or to society. Okay, and that's kind of what the system that the police are working on now. But what happens is this situation what we have with the criminalization of mentally ill people and a revolving door thing where they just go to jail, they come out of jail, and they go back to jail, and nothing happens. There's no kind of treatment or help for them. So I'm just requesting that we get another meeting with Terry Lowe and discuss all this stuff. I know there's some officers out there that are still doing good things and helping people, and that's great. But then there's other officers that are like, well, that's not my job. Like Officer Hampton and others like that I've tried to talk to. There's some that don't have that kind of above and beyond mentality, like the officers that we saw earlier today. And hopefully we can instill that kind of mentality of the above and beyond into all the officers and kind of go outside of our job description, because this society, we have to go above and beyond. If we really want to become a city of kindness and to do the right thing, sometimes we have to do that. So if anyone would like to help out there, my Facebook group, Homeless Advocates for Christ, I'd like to hear from you, and hopefully we can fulfill Proverbs 31:8 and 9, which says to defend the cause of the poor and the needy, and also to speak up for those that can't speak up for themselves. So obviously the mentally ill, a lot of times they can't do that, and I'd love to hear anything you guys have to say, or if we could get that meeting going again with Terry Lowe, because I believe he would be open to another meeting from what I understand. So can we make that happen?
Terry Lowe is sitting in the back. He is always open to meet with people with citizens of Anaheim. As you know, this is a complicated,
Yes.
issue, and I would suggest that if you mentioned that they were lying to you, I would suggest that most likely there are so many different factors in this situation that I seriously doubt if it was was not a lie. I would not think it's a lie. Just things don't work out the way that we planned, or things like that. A lie means there's intent to deceive. I know that's not the case.
Yeah, maybe some of them aren't intending. I don't know the issue. All I know is they said one thing and something else happened.
Yes.
And so I like to see that their word would be true.
And that can happen, as you know, in this world.
Sure.
Deal with the homeless issue where so many things are fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Lowe is sitting in the back, and I know he will talk to me.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. It's nice to hear about these officers. We need a lot more like them. But first of all, I want to say that we actually need an emergency safe zone for the homeless. While we wait for the shelters. We need a safe zone for the elderly women and the women with kids, and a separate one for the men. Now, the Armory in Fullerton, I believe, is closing soon. The homeless citizens of our city, not only have they lost everything, but now they're kind of afraid of some officers. I'm not there all the time. I know there's good officers out there, but there's always some few bad apples. But anyways, the whole thing with the police is they're there to protect and serve. And it's sad to think that the homeless now feel afraid when they have to be afraid of the criminals. And that's what this emergency shelters right now. If we could have a dog park, we could have those safe zones, because not only they're going to corners where there's criminals out there, and the officers need to see the difference between a criminal and a homeless person, because they're veterans, they're people, they're elderly people. And yeah, there's some drug addicts and alcoholics out there, but they're not criminals. Even though they need help, especially the mentally ill. And there have been so many killings, especially just yesterday in LA. There's a big protest right now. Before the incident, we need to actually expedite the help that they need, especially those homeless women out there that, for some reason there's no place for them, but I talked to them and they're so afraid now. And when we put those in place, at least we can separate them from the criminals. Because we're not going to put criminals with them, but we're going to monitor them in those safe zones. Okay? And that's where they can't get their stuff taken away from them. Because when they're out there, sometimes they need to use the restroom and they have to leave their stuff there. And some of them, they carry more than they should. But it's just, I'm glad that Terry's here so we can talk to him, because, we got so much to say and so many solutions, good solutions out there with San Antonio and Utah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for advocating for the homeless, and appreciate your acknowledgement of the work of Officer Alvarez. That is, I suggest that is actually more the norm of our police department. But the job is a difficult one, and not all people are homeless. Of course, there's no crime with being homeless, but if people are committing crimes, then the officer's job is to enforce the law. I know you're not disagreeing with that.
No, but there's got to be a difference where they can tell, and sometimes it's so hard to tell because they're mixed with the wrong crowds, and they get sometimes abused by those people that. So I'm hoping that.
I can tell you that they're working on it, and they're making great progress in the whole way that their police department is dealing with the whole situation. Also, I go on, but the way they deal with the prostitution situation, in a very humane way.
We don't want to see an incident like LA.
Right.
And everybody's scared about that because, it can happen anywhere. And it's just sometimes the police just mistaken.
Okay. Anyway,
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for